Hi everyone, I had a really crazy week that I want to share with you all. So before I get into what has happened, I need to give you a little bit of background. So I've always wanted my own ballet studio. When I was 16, I just had no money and I emailed around a bunch of ballet studios in San Jose where I was from, and only one person responded to me. It was the owner of a very, very small studio, Janet Verton. She was the only one that emailed me back, and she gave me a work study for ballet. And I don't even know where I'd be if she didn't email me back and gave me a chance. I was just so, so lucky. I'm so thankful to her. And she passed this year, unfortunately, but I still think about her a lot because she has pretty much changed my whole life. Anyways, I am sharing that story with you because I want to essentially do what she did for me, for other dancers. I've always wanted to make an accessible ballet studio where folks can come dance and the money aspect doesn't really matter. So as you can tell, this is pretty much a money-losing ballet studio. I work a corporate job that I absolutely hate. Well, I shouldn't say that, but this week I absolutely hate it, and I don't like it most of the time. But the thing that gets me through is knowing that every dollar that I earn from this job is going towards my studio fund and to fund other dancers. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Okay, okay, I can go on about this forever, so I should cut myself off there. So since I've moved to Pittsburgh, essentially, I have been like obsessively looking at commercial buildings. And so that's pretty much my goal is I want to buy a commercial building, turn it into a ballet studio and run it extremely well, keep it going for as long as I humanly could. And if things go well, the studio goes on after I'm gone. Anyways, I found such an amazing space. I booked a tour with a real estate agent. Our real estate agent is Jamie's mom's ex-neighbor. She's so nice, very, very wonderful woman. And when I got there, I knew. I feel like I'm gonna cry for some reason. I'm gonna post some clips. Unfortunately, I did not take a lot of videos, which I kind of regret. So this building is very, very old. It is 3 stories. The commercial space is on the first floor with 2 apartments on top. So the last tenant was a mosaic artist. She left so much of her wonderful artwork all over the front of the building, the side of the building. She left like 2 really large sculptures that I don't really have a video of, which I regret so much, but I'm gonna try to find some pictures and show it to you all. And I just feel like the character of the building was just so cool. And when I walked in, I really can imagine the studio there. The building is quite old. It is really, really run down. There are holes on the ceilings and the walls and on the floors. It needs a lot of work, but despite that, I really felt like the studio was meant to be there. And I was just so, so excited. I think this is the first time I've ever been able to picture a ballet studio anywhere. We have seen some commercial spaces in the past, and a lot of them were just kind of too run down, too abandoned, just too much work. But this place, even though it was also run down and abandoned, there's something about it that was just right. I don't know how to explain it other than it felt like it was calling to me. So here comes the bad news. The building is 100 years old, which is what gives it the character, but is what gives it a ton of structural issues. I think there are some major structural issues. The things that are holding the building up is bent, which is not good. And there was a lot of water in the basement, which is a very, very bad sign. The brick is really messed up on the outside and it probably needs to be redone. Our real estate agent pointed that out and she said that's definitely going to be pricey. And then we happened to bump into 2 architects that were on that street taking a smoke break who also told us that the 2 apartments on the top might not meet fire safety codes because there's no sprinkler system, and the sprinkler system installation to such an old building like this would cost $100,000. And so that was really, really scary because I don't have $100,000 to spend on sprinklers. I don't have $100,000 to spend on anything. And then there's this issue of the fire escape does not exist. That would have to be installed. But I was thinking, you know, if we can get the 2 apartments atop the studio running, then they can really help fund the rest of the building, right? Because if 2/3 of the building is leased out and, you know, making money, then if 1/3 of the building is losing money, maybe that's not too bad, was what I told myself. So, but the more I kind of thought about it and sat on it, just I think the project is just too much for me, unfortunately. The building is around $800,000, which is a lot to me, but obviously I think it's not a lot for a commercial building in that area. I think commercial buildings are like $1 million. So maybe $800,000 is not too bad, but I don't know how I would swing that mortgage. And there would have to be so much repairs that have to go into this building to get the 2 apartments up to code and to essentially redo the bottom floor because it's in the worst shape out of all the floors. A low estimate is that everything might be in the low $1 million. Unfortunately, I don't have $1 million just laying around. And I've been racking my brain, like, how am I gonna make this work? How am I gonna make this work? I really, really want to make this work. And I was thinking, maybe I'll quit my job and I'll fix up the whole entire building. I'll figure it out. I'll get a contracting license. And I have been in like a big frenzy because I have just been racking my brain. I really, really want to make this happen. But the more I thought about it, the logical part of my brain has been kicking in recently. And I am realizing that though I love this building and I'm so excited about it, I just don't see how this is going to work out financially. I just think it would be impossible to fund this project. And sure, I can do some crowdfunding and I can see if I can get some kind of grant aid or, anything. But I just think it would be too much for someone with a full-time job at this point. And that's been sad. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the year probably is look at the listing almost every single day, see where it's going. I really, really hope that whoever ends up buying this is going to preserve the art and the character of the building because it is just so amazing. And it would just be such a shame if the neighborhood lost that building and, a nice fancy condo rose from the ground after that. Though that's nice too, I guess, but I really, really hope they can preserve it. So anyways, that's the long-winded summary of where things have been. This whole thing has been a little bit tricky for me because I understand that in some ways I could have made this building happen if I was more aggressive about making money off of ballet, but I guess it is a little bit tricky to make money off of ballet, given that I only want to make free lessons. And I don't really want to make paid courses or have a paywall to the videos because I think it's important to have accessible art out in the world. Okay, I need to really wrap this up. What I really want to say is a huge thank you to every single person on YouTube and on Patreon, every view, every comment, every like, every subscriber. Essentially every single interaction that you've ever had with the channel really helps me because it helps raise ad revenue and that helps me get closer to building the studio. And of course, every dollar on Patreon is also being saved. I am not going out and buying burritos and leotards with it. I don't talk too much about my studio idea because it's a little bit crazy. But I'm realizing I need to be putting it out there in the world. I think it's a really big part of who I am as a person. And I think things make more sense for people when they realize that this is what I've always wanted to do. And a quick update, I will be posting a actual ballet lesson very, very soon. My back is a lot better nowadays. It's not 100%. I still can't do many things and I still have to be careful, but I am better enough to at least make some bar videos. So be on the lookout for that. And I think that's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll talk to you another time. Bye.